February 19, 1994. A woman is rushed into a California hospital, barely breathing. She's confused, her heart is racing, and her blood pressure is plummeting. The medical team springs into action, doing everything they can to save her. But just minutes later, the doctors and nurses trying to help her start collapsing, one by one. The emergency room, a place of healing, becomes a scene of chaos and confusion. What was happening? It wasn't a virus, it wasn't a gas leak. It was something far stranger, something that would baffle scientists for years and earn this woman a chilling nickname: the Toxic Lady. This is the story of Gloria Ramirez, a medical mystery that feels more like a science fiction horror film than reality. Her name was Gloria Ramirez. She was just 31 years old and bravely fighting a battle against late-stage cervical cancer. On that fateful February evening, she was brought into the emergency room at Riverside General Hospital. Her breathing was shallow, her heart rate was erratic, and she was clearly in distress. As the medical staff began their work, they immediately noticed a few things that were off. An oily sheen covered her skin, something they couldn't explain. And then there was the smell. A strange, fruity, almost garlic-like odor seemed to be coming directly from her. It was subtle at first, but it hung in the air, a quiet prelude to the pandemonium that was about to unfold. A nurse, following standard procedure, drew a sample of Gloria's blood. As the vial filled, an even stronger, more chemical-like smell, similar to ammonia, filled the air. The nurse felt lightheaded. Then, a medical resident looked at the blood sample and noticed something truly bizarre: small manila-colored particles floating inside it. No one had ever seen anything like it. Just moments after handling the blood, the nurse who drew it suddenly collapsed. A respiratory therapist standing nearby started having trouble breathing. Then the resident who examined the vial fainted, his body hitting the floor with a thud. Something was terribly wrong. This wasn't just a medical emergency anymore, it was an invisible attack. Chaos erupted in the ER. One nurse collapsed, then another. A third staff member started shaking uncontrollably. Within minutes, over 20 people were experiencing a terrifying array of symptoms: dizziness, nausea, shortness of breath, and even temporary paralysis. The situation was spiraling out of control. An internal emergency was declared, and the entire emergency department had to be evacuated. All remaining patients were moved to the parking lot, and the medical staff, now patients themselves, were wheeled out on gurneys. Tragically, despite the medical team's best efforts before the evacuation, Gloria Ramirez passed away shortly after her arrival. But the danger didn't die with her. Her body remained a source of the mysterious affliction, a silent threat that had brought a modern hospital to its knees. The hospital was effectively sealed off. A hazardous materials team, dressed in full-body protective suits, was called in to investigate. They swept the building, methodically searching for the source of the contamination. They tested for every conceivable toxin, every known industrial gas, and even for radiation. But every test came back negative. The building was clean. The investigators were stumped. The symptoms the staff experienced closely resembled exposure to organophosphates, a key ingredient in many pesticides and nerve agents. But again, a thorough search of the hospital turned up no trace of these compounds. It was as if a ghost had passed through the EA, leaving a trail of sickness in its wake. The mystery deepened. If the toxin wasn't in the building, could it have come from Gloria herself? As the official investigation continued, scientists began to piece together Gloria's final days, searching for any clue that could explain the impossible. They discovered something that, at first, seemed insignificant. To manage the severe pain from her cancer, Gloria had reportedly been using a homemade remedy: a gel containing DMSO, or dimethyl sulfoxide. DMSO is an industrial solvent that was once explored but never approved as a miracle drug. It is known for its ability to be absorbed rapidly through the skin and for creating a distinct, garlic-like odor on the user's breath, the same odor the nurses had noticed. This was the first major breakthrough. It was a long shot, but could this simple pain relief gel be connected to the chaos in the A? The scientific community started to develop a truly extraordinary theory. Here's the leading scientific theory, and it's a perfect storm of chemistry and biology. The theory suggests that the DMSO in Gloria's system, combined with the oxygen she was given by paramedics, could have undergone a chemical transformation inside her body. This reaction would have created a new compound called dimethylsulfone. This on its own isn't particularly toxic. But here's the critical step. When the doctors drew her blood, the lower temperature outside her body, and the shock from the defibrillator may have caused a second, rapid transformation. The dimethylsulfone could have converted into dimethyl sulfate, a powerful, highly toxic chemical warfare agent. This poisonous gas could have vaporized from her blood as it was drawn, leaking from the syringe and poisoning the medical staff who were closest to her. It's a 1 in a billion chemical cascade, making Gloria Ramirez's body, for a brief and tragic moment, a chemical weapon. Gloria Ramirez became known to the world as the Toxic Lady, a woman whose body became an enigma that science still debates to this day. Was it a rare and unfortunate chemical reaction, a perfect storm of circumstances that turned a pain remedy into a poison? Or was it something else, a mystery we still don't fully understand? The official coroner's report ultimately cited kidney failure from her cancer as the cause of death, dismissing the toxic theory and attributing the staff's reaction to mass hysteria. But the 23 sickened medical professionals and the scientists who proposed the chemical reaction theory would disagree. The science may have explained the how, but it never truly answered the why. One thing is certain, the day Gloria Ramirez entered that EA, medicine met a mystery it couldn't cure. A haunting reminder that there are still things in this world that defy our understanding. Thank you so much for watching. This story is one of the most fascinating and tragic in modern medical history. What do you think happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoy diving into mysteries like this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us continue to bring these incredible stories to light. See you in the next one.